see. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. Well, why I sound like this is because I just finished another session, another stream. I was talking about NX versus Turbo Repo, trying to try it out NX, and the stream lasts about 48 minutes, and I didn't realize, except at the introduction, I have my mic muted. So for the remaining 40 minutes, I was just talking to myself. So the stream was down. I turned it off, and I don't know if I were able to do it again, because it would be different, right? If I do it again, the feeling would be different because I've already done it once. So anyway, that's that. The answer, well, in a quick summary for that video, is that the NX is nice. There are some goods and bads about it, as you would expect. And the performance, I don't think, at least in my opinion, is not what they claim is faster than Turbo Repo. In my case, it's actually slower, 50%, or the Turbo Repo takes a minute, it takes 2 minutes. So that's that. But there's definitely some nice things about it and so on. So especially the graph, the NX graph, I definitely recommend you to try it out. And if there are some alternatives that allow me to visualize the dependency graph between the projects within a monorepo, let me know. I would definitely want to hear about it. So let's take that off, forget about that, and see what are we going to do now this session. So the OBS is acting a little bit weird. So in this session, it's going to be a debug section for mocktomata. So mocktomata version 7.0 is right around the corner. I have put it off for quite a while because I was busy with other things, and the previous version, the Commodore 6.0, is working fine for me. I have used it at my work to wrote more than 150,000 tests, and it's working nice. So that's why I want to redo it. I want to fix it for some fundamental issue around async and stuff, but so I did that, but didn't really finish it up and publish it. So but it's coming. Recently I picked it up again, and of course, if you don't know what mocktomata is, you don't know what I'm talking about. And so that is also one of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so let's go. So here, let's first talk about what is mocktomata. So for those who don't know, mocktomata, or the previous version, Commando, is a behavior simulation system. It sounds fancy, and I would say, because I'm the one who wrote it, it is fancy. It's a fancy mocking system, so to speak, that will capture the behavior of your code, typically your external dependency, and then replay it during the test, or during, when you're executing it. So its primary usage is for testing. Right, so it allows you to write some code that actually calls for example, call a service, or open a file, do something, whatever, and then save the behavior into a record, and then replay it the next time around. And of course, you can control to replay it, or run the whole thing again, or update the record. So it basically allows you to write the test by running the actual stuff, doing the actual execution, save it, and replay it as a unit test. So you can really write that unit test and become unit test, keep it as unit test, and run it in the build server and so on. Don't worry about it. It will not make another API to your bank account to subtract $10,000, and then it will pass. And if you want to have another $10,000 withdraw from your bank account, you can turn it back on and run it as a live execution, and then save the result again. So that's the benefit, or the main use case of it. Besides that, you can also run it in runtime if you set it up to make it as an actual dependency of your application, so you can use it inside your system, inside your live code, and then you can tell it to capture the behavior for a section, and then later on replay it. So that would be a great use case for doing demo. So you don't really need to save a video for your interaction and play it. You can really just do it and let it replay. Of course, I'm not saying that doing videos is not a good idea. It's great, and there are some other benefit out of it. But yeah, but anyway, that is another use case that you can use. Although they build the browser side, I still need some work on it, because the main focus for the project for mocktomata is to support the testing case. So over here now, it actually give me all right. So in the mocktomata, so I'll just give, because this video is more about the debugging, so I'm not going to go through all the tools, the stuff that is available for the inside the mocktomata. So what we have here is let's start running the test. So again, this is really just live debugging, and you will see, if any mistake, any issues, and also you along the way you can I will describe the inner working of mocktomata, how it works, so that we can you were able to learn something from its design and from implementation. So over here, let's first see if I can reproduce the problem that I have seen. So first of all, over here there is this test project, and so I'm going to start the test. So the test, this will pass, that is okay, but that is expected. So ignore that warning. There's something else. So over here, this is pass, and what this code does in this case is using the mockto construct, creating the test, doing 1 plus 1 plus 2, and it uses this calculator, and the calculator is calling this API. So API math.js.org, and then is do the add, right, addition. So it adds A and B, so it pass that in and get the response and return it, and that's it, right? So it's that, and I can show you that the spec mode console log, right, so log that out, so you can see that it's saying it is simulate. So meaning it is, although because I can't really show you the network traffic because we're streaming, right? So even though it looks like it's making the call, it's not. It is reading the record and simulating the behavior. So how this works in the code, what you see is when you call mockto, it returns the spec name. This spec name is really just this name. So it returns it so that you can use it in the description as a description of the test, so you don't have to repeat the same thing. And then it have this spec function, right? So this spec function, you use it to spec an object. That's how I described it. So in this case, it's using Axial. So the Axial is spec'd. It become a you can think of a proxy that it basically is a proxy that will record the behavior, and then you start using that. So over here in the calculator, it uses this Axial instance and just make the call. Right, so that's that. And then at the end, after you test, make sure that the behavior is what you want, and then you call the spec.done. Tell the mockto, in this case, that the test has completed. So it will either, if it's running in safe mode, it will save the record. If it is running in simulation mode, it will signal that, oh, the test has complete, have all the steps have been executed or not. Right? If it's have not, then it will fail, saying something is missing, or well, there's no or. If it is done, have all the actions been carried out, then it will be successful. So that's what that is. And then so the problem, the bug is this. So let's see how am I going to do it. So the easiest way to do that is by using another construct. So let's see 3 plus 4 equals to 7. Right. And then in here I would say async, and then I will use another tool called PD or mocktomata, or the original one. So in that case, when using this guy, I need to repeat this call. So it will return a spec, and then in the spec you can do the same thing. Right, so I am going to do this. Okay, and then let me first do this as a save. Okay, and then 3 plus 4 would equal to 7. Right, so let me call that, and it should work. And it have this warning over here because I have not called done. Right, so there are some timer, some promise left behind. So if I call wait back done, and that will go away. Let's see. So this is working. However, now I am going to, let's see, I make that a up, and then try repeat this same thing. Right, this will fine, this will work. But I'm going to simulate. This will also work. However, if I change this, let's see if this fail. This does not fail. That's the bug. That's the problem. So what happened is that during simulation, somehow it did not validate if the input is what it would expect. So that is a big problem, because that is half of the issue that is trying to do. So over here on the right hand side, you can see the actual record. So I take out the first line to make it just a JSON, so that you can see the record. So over here is, it takes some time, some use to, and this also shows you how complicated these things is. And in order to do the simulation on something as simple as adding two numbers, right? Of course, actually is not adding two numbers, is making this call, right? But it's just making a call, right, with some string in this case, because it parse it and process it become a string. So calling xco.get, doing that, and then return the promise, and we await for the promise and return this back, right? So to capture that behavior, that is what have happened, what need to be recorded over here. So down here, you can see here there is a string, right? Is a input, and is type of an argument, and then this is the input. So you can see over here, this is say 3 and 4, okay? And then it do the promise, do whatever, and then all the way at the end over here is output. This is actually outputting the response, right? So correspond that calculator. So this is that response with this data equal to 7. You see, so getting the response.data, it get the 7, and thus it returns. Go back over here, this actual gets 7. So that's how the whole thing goes. So the problem now is that during the simulation, I'm actually passing 5 and 4, not 3 and 4. So it should fail here, and fail and throw an error called action mismatch, but it did not. Okay, so why is that? Is because, well, it's not enough testing. What happened is that in Komodo, I did a lot of testing. I think in Komodo in version 6 this was working, but when I'm working in for the version 7, it's just too much. It's very, very tedious to do the test. So I think I probably skipped some step. I did some basic testing, like the one like this, so you can see that it is working. But I did not have sufficient test case for the negative test like this. So that's why I didn't catch it. Alright, so with that, let's take a look at the code that is causing this. So first of all, is related to this string plugin. So each of the inside the mocktomata code, it is a fully design a fully plug-in based system. Even within itself, each of the functionality that it provides for the basic JavaScript construct. String, null, some inert value, class functions, they are all plugged into it. So you can see that this guy just do a very little thing, right? So let's see. So this guy, it created stuff, it returned the meta. So another thing I need to think about is how am I going to test this? So because right now over here I'm testing it in test project, which is using the result of the code that is built over here. So meaning if I just make a change over here and say, for example, meta, try to print it out and running a test again, it will not run. It will not get the change because that is a different project. So what I would need to do is do a build. Like if I do that and I run it again, then this should print out the thing that I wanted. So this is a bit why does it have still showing this error? This warning, I know what this warning is the file server stuff. Why does it do? It's because it is in here. Take it away for now. Will there fail any test? It won't. So we have one less thing to worry about. Okay. So that's that, and here I should see that message, but I did not. Why is that? Here I should see that message already. Why I didn't it? Why I didn't receive it? Let's. Hello? Seems like this. Oh damn it! The sound. Yeah, let me adjust the sound a little bit. Second. Okay. I hope this will be better because the seems like the noise gate having some problem in the OBS. So the attack, all those things, that system has some problem. I need to adjust it later on. So right now, let me turn that off. So there will be a little bit more noise, but it's better than my voice being cut off. So over here now, why this does not reflect? Let me see. It should reflect unless no, it really shouldn't. It's not cached, but it is really not executing. Where's the printout? Hell. Okay. So So let me do some more thing. With log levels. Is there any code completion? No. I don't think I expose it through mocktomata. So let me extend the log over here. I can really set it to infinite, but you know, it reads a little bit better when I'm doing it like this. Okay, so this prints out all of the logs, not the one that I was adding. Yeah, the simulate. Okay. So here, so I have all the detail logged that I have made for the project. So you can see that I create a stub. So that's what this does. And then I access the get function. So let me put this on this side. So it's get the axial. We access the get function. Okay, and then it recreate a stub. We create a stub for that code. So let me scroll it a little bit. So the type of function, the name is wrap, is probably the internal function of that. And then so we get a input. We get an input spy. That is the problem. It shouldn't be an input spy. It should be an input stub. So for comparison. So let me do the same thing over here, and also let me just comment it out. Come on. Let's run again. Okay. It's Act 5 already. What's going on? I feel like the it's the just printout issue. But the good thing is, no, this is just the result, which is the same as this guy. Right, so we have this action, which is fine, but I want to see the actual. This is the output spy. Okay, there you go. So the first one, it starts here. So this is the same. It access that, right? Create a spy on that, execute a function, and then create an input spy. That is the problem. So you can see that during the save is doing the input spy, invoke it. So the input spy, basically what it does is it will listen to the event, the behavior, and then it return the output, and also is a spy to look at what's going on, what's coming out of it. Right, so and then so on. These are the remaining code. Right, so that's how the save side work. So the problem is with the simulate side. Right, so if I do that over here like this, right, it still run. Create this input spy. Yeah, this is all input spy. This is not right. The issue is for sure I was doing that for certain case. So if I change this, it's likely I could fail another code. So here what you are seeing is the heart of the mocktomata. This is the simulator, and it is complicated. So let's see. Build a testable, create a spy. Right, so that is the place. Right, the profile is an input. So yeah, the profile is an input. Building a testable. So the testable, this is being called for multiple cases. This one is set property. Right, one is set property, and then over here this is invoke the function, the one that we are looking at. Right, and then down here this is spying the argument, and then there is another case that is doing this, resolving some value. So the thing that we have is here. Get default performer. What should I do over here? But before that, actually before this whole thing, there's another thing that we need to take a look at, because the issue is, in order to tap in, I need to make sure that what I print out is in fact getting used, getting print out over here. Okay, this does hit. So the other one does not, because the string it never the system never asked it to create a stub because it was creating a spine. That's the problem. So that's why this doesn't hit. And so I add that in there, doesn't really work. Doesn't really do anything, but this one does. Okay. Well, I will leave the logs over here so that I can see where it get hit. And by the way, you might ask why I don't use a debugger. I wish I could, but I don't know what, if anyone can help me, it would be great. I haven't really used the debugger for a long time. And also with Jazz and all this, I'm never able to make that work. So for one, with Jazz, with TypeScript and stuff, I don't know. I couldn't get it work. I can actually show you right now. So Jazz, right? So this guy right now, I actually have it disabled. So let me enable it. And if over here, right now I set to PowerShell, so hopefully that is a little bit better. Will it show up? Will it show up? I want to run this test. Jazz debug set up extension. I still need to set up just the missing require. I enable one test, yes. Note the command line, enter just command line. Oh no, S. Let's see. Suddenly it start playing. I don't know if you were able to listen to the music. Hello? Why? It. Come on, go down. I don't know. Exit. Right. So put it back over here. Nothing show up. I think this completely doesn't work for me. It's even worse than I have before. I don't know if it is because it is a monorepo or what. So if I do this, run this, nothing happened. Program workspace PNPM. PNPM run test, run in band. PNPM test. And if I go to the top level, PNPM test, right? This is running a turbo test. I can see that it doesn't work with all this stuff, but how to set it in the monorepo to do all that? There's some documentation and try to do that, but I never able to get it working. So yeah. So too bad. Well, for now I'll leave it as is, and it's also that debug thing is not showing up, so I don't know why. It's just that. So for now I have to keep doing this stupid thing. Whenever I make a change, need a little build so that this will pick up. So that's why another thing I can do is to move this code into the this project so I can test it closer. But this taking the Axial, I don't want to add another dev dependency to that app shell and then blah, blah, blah. So that's that. So now let's go back to here. Right, so it's doing this act, and then here it's creating the spy because this is not defined. what can I do? First of all, let me take a look at this again to make sure that this is working. So I create a target, right? Because that is correct. Because that is the let me turn off the music for a moment. So because we call the get and this is our call, right? We are the one who making the call. So the issue, the difficulties of this is the system need to figure out which call is made by you or made by me, and which call is made internally by that code. And so it need to able to differentiate between the two, so that if that is the call or the access, whatever the behavior that's captured is done by the system, by the code itself, it will need to simulate that. If not, it will be yeah, it will be checked. So hold on a second. I think I know what happened. I think I know what happened. It's the complete thing. I completely forgot. Yeah, well, it is here, and I completely did not validate any input. If it is output, so the profile back. The profile, what it can be the target, output, or input or output. So if it is input, then I am creating a spy. Well, no, it's correct. I am creating because if I'm creating a stub, it just get the data and repeat it. It is a spy that will check the error, check the input. However, it didn't check the input. It's just track. It didn't validate the input. It just tracked the input. It tracked it but didn't validate. I think that's what happened. So this test double, it built that test double, and then seems like that's it. So let's go to that code again. So it build that test, build by is matching invoked, right? So action expected. So the question is, should I add in more tests over there or more logs over here? So for one is over here for all of these logs, I am doing a trace log, trace level log. So for those who don't know, in the standard log, I have a lot more levels than just in the info, warning, error, and debug. So after debug, there's this trace, and then there's a silly, and then there's a prank. And so these are set at the trace level because I feel like it's already very detailed. It's more than the typical debug log that you will see. So if you're using standard log in the other part of the system, when you by default doing tests, if you set to debug, right, I don't want these to show up because if you have a lot of tests, this will be massive. There will be so much logs that you don't want to read it. The terminal will just keep scrolling. And so these are trace, right? And these logs are tracing, showing what happened. But what I'm doing here is I'm logging, something even more detailed than that. Is checking the logic of the mocktomata itself. And this is really only useful within mocktomata for debugging purposes. Quote unquote debugging mocktomata, not debugging your code. You shouldn't debug mocktomata, right? So if I'm going to write some log, it will be even lower than that, right? Even lower than trace. That is the only way to do it. Let's see, what do I get? So the action is 5, but the expect is 5. How come? Oh shit, I'm looking at the right thing. Get in return invoked. This is saying 5. Hold on a second. No, it was too late. So type get. I call the get function. I try to get the get function, which return the get functions, and then I'm invoking it with the payload 2. So the payload 2 over here is this guy, is 3 and 4. So no, this is not what I should look at. No, this guy. Right, create input spy. That is, yeah, no, that is also, that is the problem. So this created reference is just checking for this guy. Shit, how am I going to do this? So it is something that is really tough to figure out. So build this by argument. Let's see. This log, I would need to start. No, that's no silly what I'm talking about. The trace after trace is prank. So because you know the issue is, even if I do that, even if I lock it out, I really don't know how useful it is during debugging session, because they are so detailed. So it's here. I performed it. Maybe it shouldn't be a spied arguments. So here is saying it is building spy arguments. That's why another thing is, that's why, you know, the naming of this is really important, because if not, I would have problem understanding the code. So this is spying for that code. And then it built a spy argument for this action. And this action is invoke. So I am the user is making the call, making this call. And then we need to build the arguments. So this is the argument that come in. And then okay, and then after that we can do a comparison. All right, so action, let's say, just, I really don't think that I should do that that much detail. So before build spied arguments, So you can see the difference after. Build fail. Oh. But it's okay, even it's build fail is okay. So here it set the payload to 5. Before that it is empty. All right. So that means here this is the problem. It is try to build spy argument. In fact, it should not be. It should be tracking the input. So over here, he created input spy of a function. Or it. Oh. Oh. You sure? Yes. If I do this, why I still call still create a spy on a function of a native code? This looks like, you know, is originally I thought this looks like the template. Oh, no, hold on a second. It's simulating. Save. Let's save one. Yes, and let's fix this. All right, now this pass. This still pass. This still a function of a native function. Reference 5 is what? Hold on a second. This is not right. This is not right. This should be just a string literal. Hold on. 5 0 1 2 3 4 5. Type function name empty string length equal 1. Type argument. Input type argument. Oh, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing, because it's here I do have this guy. Yeah. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at somewhere down here. So it should be this guy, but it created input spy. That's the problem, right? Because when it is invoked by the user, this is invoked by the user, so the function is being called, right? We create a stub for it, create a target stub for it. Right, this function, but this create an input spy, this looks wrong. And then if we invoke that with that guy, with that reference, so this should be checked, right? The expected one should not be a spy of that string. We should check the second reference, right? It should match with this guy. Okay, so here, that's where the problem is. So the problem is within here. So this is tracking the action, which will be correct because both of them will be calling with a payload of the second reference, right? Reference number 2. It's just that the reference number 2 itself is wrong. So it is over here. So then here means I do need to do a check similar to the case like this, that when the performer, so let's see, yeah, so when the performer is this guy, where's the check if there any, yeah, so say for example over here, right, process the next action during the invoke. If this is that the performer is mockto, which is the internal stuff, it will do something, and if it's a plugin, it will do something else, and then so on. But these over here, this is at the tail end, is at when it's trying to process the next action. So the issue we have over here is that in this code, we would need to check the performer. So if performance equals to user, right? And then if not, right now let's assume that is the case. The issue is it could be other way. Let's actually do a switch. Yeah, it will be fine. Switch statement, performer, right? So case user, we do one thing, break, and then default will do something else, right? The default is building the spy stuff over here. So here is really the problem is. So what we need to do, let's see. For now, let's keep it like that. Let's see here. Expect a break statement, no fall through. I don't care. I want the fall through. But so expected. Let me run that. Log level declare. I don't care about that either. All right, so that's why, you know, during test running and stuff, I don't want those things to be distracting me. That's why, you know, especially doing on the over here on the jest, right? That's why I personally don't like to use TS jest, and I would always turn off the type checking, because the type checking, I know when I'm debugging, I'm fixing stuff, I know the type will be wrong, but that's okay. I want to focus on the behavior, make sure the behavior is wrong. The IDE will already help me, or the TSC later on doing the build will already help me to make sure that I'm behaving well correctly. But during test, in the middle of it, I don't want it to tell me that, oh, your type is wrong, or the ESLint something is bad, go fix that. No, I am doing something. I'm in the middle of it. Don't distract me with something that is non-essential, right? So that's my take on that. Okay, so over here, you can see this is getting the payload 5. And then we can go, let's see, because I need to figure out the record. Here is the record. Let's just record get ref 5. I don't care. All right, because this is the 5th one. Does it? It does take a number, right? I don't know. Let's see. Ow. What did I get from ow? Eh? Nothing? Hey. What? Where's the owl? Dang it. I don't care about this anymore. Let me do this. Okay, so that gives me the payload. Yes, that is the one that I want to look at. This is this guy. Oh, payload 2, not payload 5. Okay. Get loaded. Yeah, actually, I should call get loaded reference. All right, the reference in the data. It's a function. No, that's not what I want. Hold on a second. 012. Why did I get this guy? Why did I get this guy? Let's see. That's the problem. I really want it to be. Actually, let me do this. Yeah. Let me. How am I going to do it though? Okay. I should try. So, what I'm going to do is installing this plugin. How am I going to use this? I kind of forgot, although I wrote that. So give me a second. So that's how I would use it. Although it's really not just on pass. Maybe I will need, I will improve it to it's actually, it's not, it's the other way around, but this right now, this is not what I want, but let's see. Yeah, so you can see that it executes that TSC, but of course building that TSC here does nothing, because that's it's just do the test locally. So I feel this will really mess it up. So the question is, how do I trigger the build, trigger the turbo inside this repository to do that, to run that, right? So meaning, if there might be this might be a use case that I should run the test at the very top level for all of the packages, then I can run the whole thing from the top level, and from the top level I can also run the this npm run build. So at the top level, this guy will actually trigger the turbo, right? So it will call this guy, which will detect the change, and if I have a change over there, and do it. Of course, another thing is I just turn on the build watch. Maybe I should just turn on build watch. Let's see. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see, what do I get over here? So before invoke, the expect one is the second one, right? So in the record, I have this function, the first one, second one. This is not claimed yet. So this is the one that I want to get. this is the one that I want to get and compare to. So that's that record refs. So yeah, so those are the refs. And this guy will create a ref. Let me just take a look. So this find refs argument, or using this to find the ref is ref. So ref double. If not, it will try to create that guy. But then there is nothing to do the comparison. So this build testable over here, get the argument context over here, it will claim this. So here there is this claim equal to true, right? So that guy, after it is executed, this will have a testable and say claim equal to true. Right. So that's that. So we are kind of getting a little bit closer to that. So maybe even that is correct. It's just that over here I didn't check anything. Hold on. Okay. So this guy, what's this arguments again? It should fail. Oh, this doesn't. What's going on with the? It's here. Save. Hello? It didn't detect any. Hey, I am making changes. What's going on with the watch mode? Yeah, I have this. Hey, what do you want? Nothing? You're not showing me anything? No, it does update it. Okay, so the question is why this guy find ref is able to find that ref. Yeah, here. Exactly here. why it find that this is wrong? There is clearly this is wrong. Okay, that explained it. So it's down here. Plugin name. There's no check over here. Value. Here I find the plugin. Oh, this assumption is not right anymore. Well, at least not right for string, right? Primitive. Yeah. So you can see that the plugin, right, besides array, object, class, so on, right, it also have plugin for null, string, undefined, right? And so this is a primitive is really referred to binary number Boolean, right? Those three. So here it do the check, right? And then it just find the reference based on that right? But not necessarily the meta. And so now the question, because is here, I can't really assume. I need to double check, and I need to actually adding a function to the plugin. So to do the comparison. So what happened is for each plugin, right, in mocktomata, there are 4 functions. Then, well, 4 things to specify. The name is the subject that coming in. Is it will this plugin able to support that? And then creating a spy and creating a stub. And here, what we really need is to say that, hey, I have a value. Is this the value matching the reference, right, for this hour? And this hour need to be an instance, and need to pass it in to say if I am the one, right? I'm during the simulation, am I the one? So yeah, that's what needed, because yes, I can do a check over here to see if the metadata, right here, that is the metadata storing this value versus the subject, right? And this subject is really this value, because you can see that it is set over here. So I can do that comparison and quote unquote fix these bugs. But by doing that, it means that I assume the value for whatever it is for that particular plugin will be placed in the meta as the original. There's no additional things added or removed it, or it's the meta is not containing any other thing, right? So it is the case for string, right? But I cannot assume the same thing for every single plugin. So I need a formal way to describe that or to check that behavior. So yeah, so this will be a bigger change, but the change is not too bad, right? I need to add those functions and add that function in for all of the plugins, and then use it over here, and then need to see if there's any other place that's need to use this to do the check. I think this is the only place. Of course, I could be wrong. There could be other places that's over here, you can see that I still have some old stuff that I was leave it here because it was so the logic was so complex. So instead of deleting the code, I was keeping some of the old code around so I can refer to it to make sure that the things is working correctly. And yeah, so that's that. And since for this session is already running for 1.5 hours, and we were able to figure out what is the problem, so that is some good progress. And so let's wrap up here, and I will try to finish it, or I will do another sprint to or another stream to fix this issue. And so let's recap, right? So you can see okay, so what have we learned in this stream, this video? So we talk about what mocktomata is, and you can see, you know, how it is actually behaving when it's behaving correctly, and hopefully you can see how powerful it is. And then then we try to debug this, right? Try to describe the problem, and then get into a little bit issue showing about the jest. And again, if anyone knows how to really fix this, you know, it will help me a lot. I really don't know how to get that work. This time around, it just completely broken, completely doesn't work at all. And in other case, you know, the debug shows up and I can click on the button and run it, and then but when I run it, the output over here is say something that file not found. It cannot find the instance of jest, or some command was missing, something's wrong. So I was never able to get it work in my monorepo most of the time, because for the things that's not monorepo, typically I don't really need the debug functionality. I just do some logging and able to figure it out. But this one for mocktomata, this is really complicated, and I understand the debug can help a lot, but I couldn't figure it out now. So if you know, please let me know how to do that. And then we take a look at the inner working of mocktomata. You can see that all the stuff are written as a plugin, and the plugin itself looks pretty simple, although, you know, the design to make that work, to make it to be what it is today, is complex, right? So even say, for example, here is one of the most complicated plugin, right, doing the promise, and that is actually the key reason, the reason why I have to rework the whole thing from Commando 6, and then I rename it to mocktomata and release 7. Have to redo this is because of the promise support, and it is not easy. So, and here you can actually see that, you know, why I said that, and, you know, in promise this is not the value at all, right? This is saying resolve promise, reject promise, and like that. So that comparison, you know, just do a comparison naively in the place that we're looking at, you know, in this function getRef, you know, is not the way to go. So, but back to here, but even with that, when I say it's complex, just looking at this, there's not a lot of code, but to get it right, you know, it's fun, put it this way. Yeah, so that's that. So that's how this works. The whole thing is plugin based. So this also this makes sure that, you know, when I need to add additional plugins, or anyone need to add additional plugin, it's easy to do, and the plugin will have the same capability as any other construct inside the in the system, because even the language itself is written using plugins. So that's that, and we go over the simulator a little bit, although I didn't really describe what this code does. We just focus on that function, but you know, in general, you can see that, you know, it try to process an action and then try to validate it, and there's some case, you know, depends on who is performing the code, it will need to know what need to be done, so the performer need to be known and tracked, and all those things. So it was a fun project for me to do, and it's fun at the same time. It's painful. It's really hard. It's one of the hardest projects that I work on, and so that's it. And hope you enjoy this video. Hope you learned something. And yeah, if you're interested in this project, feel free to check it out when it is released, or if you want, you can check out the previous version Commando, and that is working in most cases. There is some corner case not working for the promise, but for other things is working fine. And as I mentioned, I was using that version to load 150,000 tests, doing end-to-end, and so it's working pretty reasonably well. So feel free to check it out. And with that, that's it for this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.